listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
We have 4 Core of Commerce pending gym membership. We have a lot of benefit plans. We will create a report that actually pulls employees who are enrolled for medical plans, who are enrolled for healthcare plans. All these plans will filter. I think the same report, what we've created yesterday, should work. I'll go with source all active and terminated. Generally, these kind of requirements you'll be getting for benefits team. Benefits team will be asking you to send all the employees' data to vendors. Vendor. Vendor's requirement would be who have enrolled to their plans. Who have enrolled to their particular plan should be needing the data to process benefits from the system. That is one thing you need to do. Now the requirement is employee should be active and should have enrolled to specific benefit plan. That would be the requirement. What would be the case that we can do in the report? Should not be terminated, should not be contingent, should not be inactive. Employee should be active and should have enrolled to specific plans to poll in the report. Any guess? Active status. We have to add it in the filter like active status. And then the benefit like in the list and add whatever benefits we want to filter. First, our report should filter for active employees. I said there is a Boolean value called active status. Which you can take and filter the data. And also there should be one more. Boolean value is employee active. This works more efficiently than active status. Because this is actually looking for employee. If you see the condition, I think this should be delivered. I believe. I mean, it filters only employees and not contingent workers. If you see the condition here, active and worker is employee. It is not looking for contractors. It is not looking for any terminated or inactive employees. It looks for only employees. This works more efficiently in your reporting. If it is not there, probably just note it. Other than active status is a delivered workday field, which actually filters for active employees. But this also filters for filters more efficiently than active status. It looks for employee record and identifies them and filters them. I'll go with this one. The other one, the active status, it gives for contingent or terminated everybody. It is nothing but the worker is active. What it will look is it will go for all the records and it will identify active status. But this one will go for only employee. Your performance report. Performance will be more efficient because it will not. This will not look for all the records. It will only look for employee and pull that record. But the other one will go for worker record, and it will be drilling down into contractor, inactive, terminated by going into all the status and will be filtering worker status, which is active. You mean like worker means any employee, but sorry, worker means any category employees full-time, employees fully. Workers. Worker will give contractor, terminated, inactive, on leave, and even the active employee. An employee is just an employee. Now the major filter that we need to make is who are enrolled to specific benefit plans. There is a delivered field called currently enrolled to benefits. That plays major role here. I have a question when we select this and you say they on leave, they don't come up. But should they not be part of this? If we want all active leave, it could be just a week's leave, or is it? If you're saying leave, you mean long-term leave. There are two types of low end. You know there's a big top. There is a two type of flips. One is if I'm short term, if they wanted to have employee leave to be actually tracked under short term leave, they will not be marked as on leave. They'll just go with the time of run. There is a plan called time of plan. Let's say a pattern in the employee. Male employee wanted to go for a pattern in the leave for 2 days. Those kind of plans will be created under time of plan. But if any HR team decides if paternity leave, maternity leave, all this should be go under leave type. Just create them as a leave plan. Then we'll be creating that as a leave plan. When employee goes to paternity leave under this leave plan called maternity leave, what they'll be doing in the moment, they actually submit the leave and manager approves. And their profile will be showing that on leave. That will go for on leave. After 15 days, when they are returning back again, we need to return them from leave. There is a task for benefits team that they need to return from them. Unless they return them from leave, they are inactive employees. They are the organization, but they're inactive employees. This 15 days, what you told us, categorized by the organization. That based on period, no policy. How many days that they wanted to give, whether it is 10 days, 50 days, everything is as per the policy, leave policy. These are all configured in the system when they first implemented like Workday. Everything will be configured as per the requirement. There are multiple benefit plans here. Really, I'll go for healthcare. Mostly every organization will have. These benefit plans offered to employee look across for. Medical plans will be offered to every employee in years. Look cross plan if they wanted to track employees who are enrolled to this benefit plan. You can actually set up these benefit plans and employees who are in don't do that particular plan will be filtered out. In case if there are other plans, you can just Similar way you can check and get those plans. I'll check out also insurance. How are you selecting all? I'm not only just controlling. Basically, all the benefit plans that I've chosen will be for years. What I know, have other employees for other countries have come here. From my understanding, all the Blue Cross plans are for years. Employees only receive this employee. Let's see if this employee is enrolled for medical plans or what we filtered with. Employees for UK employee. That's what system is showing. It might be enough, this employee. To understand clearly what plan is, they will just from this we'll know what is the exact plan that employees enrolled, that we know whether the country specific employee is eligible for that plan or not. I think this employee has enrolled for these plans, and there is a way that coming up computer spending. Gym embassy come out of spending. Pension Sweden's account. All these plans are getting picked up in the report filter, which control given selected control area. All the plans have got selected and the reason why this employee has got picked up. Click any question. Basically, all of them got picked up because we can't be selected all the benefit, all the medical plans, all the plans other than medical. We've selected a few more plans. And that's where you know all the employees have got picked up and even the benefit plans that will be loaded onto, like by your HCMM people. It would be only the plans the company offers, right? There will be extra. Whatever company opts for, those only will be selected, nothing else. Thanks. These are frequent kind of requirements that you'll be getting from benefits team. If you're working for a customer who has benefits as their benefits module, they will be reaching out to you for similar kind of reports for multiple plans. Now, We have selected only few plans here. All plans here, but might be there should be a case where you will be creating a report only for one plan, where employee would have enrolled and that detail has to go to vendor who has to provide benefits from their system. All these things will be there, right? In this case, you'll be selecting only few plans. When they give you a requirement that comes through the column headings, would they tell you what they want included, or do you? Is there a standard format or companies have their own format? You mean to say, what are the columns has to populate? They may come with specific data or if it is coming from external system. Not from internal business requirement, but if it is coming from external provider, benefits provider. They will be giving you complete document. These are the fields we wanted to have, and this is the plan that needs to get filtered and everything. You know they'll be giving you in a kind of PDF document as a user guide based on that. You can actually go ahead and create data fields. And now similarly, whatever we filtered, now you can actually use. Not in the selection list to actually get huge amount of benefit plan. Let's say now, they have all the benefit plan but not, insurance plan. What you'll do, instead of actually going for all the benefit plan, just not in the selection list and select the insurance plan. It will only look for. It will not look for insurance, but all the plans that you look and returns the data. Such kind of thinking also you can make when you're actually creating reports for benefits. That would be a normal filter, right? Not a sub-filter, because it's not sub-filter, because it's one business, primary business. All the benefit related filters will be sitting in worker only. But again, it's your hands on it. There is a business object called benefit elections, which is actually related to employee. It's related employee. You can actually take that one go for related business, object and sub-filter. You can play around in that way also. We have benefit elections. Even this one also you can do this. Is this added as a related business object? Now, you can take this to your sub-filter and select all the benefit plans that you wanted to have on that. That's all. You can actually play around with the benefit of that. There is one more kind of sorting option that you can make here. The usage of these checkboxes. This is one thing in a venue whenever you are actually playing around with the calculations. Any kind of arithmetic data that employee salary populates. Whenever employee, other than salary, any kind of bonus amount that is coming. If you wanted to actually do a kind of sum for all the salary related fields and get a grand total report, you can instead of using any calculated field. This is one thing, which you can select this, which actually aggregates all the dollar amount that you'll be giving and get you the total amount at the end of the report. We'll just try to do that. Benefits from your ClearWrite. I am actually going a simple way of creating a report, but when you go for similar benefit reports, data-wise, you'll be getting a chance to actually create calculated fields to get some data fields. I'm not covering calculated fields, but when we get into calculated fields topic, once we are through with all the reporting formats and reportings, we'll be getting into calc fields. I'll let you know how you can tweak the calculated fields by getting benefits related into, a worker column or filters. All these things are probably calculated fields will be required when they're actually making most of complex reporting. I'll be covering the calculated fields when we get into calculated fields topic. Not even when we are actually creating calc fields. We need to add to reports only. We'll be creating multiple reports in calculated field concept as well. But whatever we have seen now is mostly used and the required report. Only thing that will change is the plans will get changed. The requirement and kind of filtering the data will be same, but probably the data fields might be. You might be adding a few more data fields and might go with the few specific benefit plans. That is the only thing that you might be seeing change. But most of the cases, a benefit business will be asking you, or external vendor will be asking you to send the data for the employees who are enrolled to their benefit plans. Now, the expectation that we have for another requirement is we need to have a report that should have any currency related value which generates an output with the sort field that I was saying, right? It should actually sum the currency value. That is the thing. What we can do is we'll keep as it is on the data. Add some compensation related fields. When you wanted to use that currency related here, aggregate your sort rate. Your value should be displaced. Grand total. I already checked that one. This is currency only, right? This is not currency. Something kind of. This to actually be that information. got invalid. Grand total. And it is not getting the value actually. But for some reason, I know the calculation is not happening. We'll see. Might be. You can see, a huge amount is the rate. It is not able to give that particular value. As you can see, everything is on billions. After summing up the grand total one, it is not able to give that value in this row actually. There is a reason why I can see even if I select all. Not sure whether you'll be able to get this amount, whatever you're seeing right. I don't know whether it is billions or millions or trillions. Our grand total is not able to give this value because there's actually a huge rate to actually give. And the spreadsheet is not able to calculate this. But let's say we'll filter for only specific country and see if that gives. More or less. How much time do they look for turnaround time for a report plus minus? When they give requirements. Generally, all benefit relation, whatever is talking about, right? We need to be a kind of integration based store. If you're specifically working in an analytics team or reporting team, and if your report that you're creating are standalone reports, nothing Basically, when you create a report, those reports should be directed to dashboards or those reports should be pointed to integrations. This kind of requirements will be there until unless you're not going for matrix report or any other report. If you're going for only advanced report, the expectations of advanced are a little different, right? It has to be, associated with third party application. It has to be associated to integration kind of requirements will be there until unless you don't have any such of requirements, your timelines will be very flexible because you'll be creating for internal business user only for their reporting purpose. You'll be creating a report for them and you'll be sharing them. They'll not give any specific timelines. But if you are working as a consultant, as a contractor, then you'll get the stringent timelines. But if you're working for your own company as a customer, Workday customer, then I think you'll not have any kind of rigorous timeline. It will be flexible because you're working for your own customer and definitely they'll not give you a kind of deadline or a target. And by this date, I wanted to have this thing. They're not. Once you're done, you can practically go ahead and let them know that the report is done and you can view the report however you want. Automatically running the report and sending them the file or giving them access to the report and asking them to manage the report and run the report. Multiple ways to actually let business know your report status. We'll be knowing all those scheduling reports and all will know. Amit, one question. You're adding a grand total in the sort right. What if there's more than one column with numeric value? It's going to give some information. For all the columns, any currency field that you take, just configure a sum. Take that as sum here, or however we've done here, take that as sum and configure grand total. It will give for all those columns. Let me try for a specific country. That will list down some of the values and see if it comes. you go for Canada. How that it goes. I don't think I'm a huge amount here. Still, let us come in here. Let me check. It has to be selected as some. That's the reason why it is actually showing an error. If you guys have them, just try new tenants. It is something with the tenant or something. Just see if you're able to sort the grand total. Nothing that can be. Excel that. In. That shouldn't be the case to actually return this. You filter off your more. then this is not something. Calculation sheet is something with the talent issue, is not actually calculating itself. But generally, this should work for all the huge data as well or something. You know the talent has some issue with this. That's the reason it is actually not calculating. But just try the same option in your tenant if it is populating. If you guys have this, just test this one in your tenant and let me know if that is working for you. And Amit, my tenant, says one or more extensions are not installed. What do I do? One or more extensions are not installed. You're getting error message. No, I'm just logging in for the first time. I got tenant access just today. One or more extensions are not installed. Probably. There was an email that comes with it, and there's two extensions that you have to install before you can use it. Thank you. If you do those, it's really quick. If you do those, then you'll be able to get it. You're talking about the document attached with the email. No document. I can't remember. I just clicked on it and it said install and I said yes, yes. There's two of them that you need to do. I can't remember because it's almost a week ago. Sure, no problem. I will check. Thank you. Now this part, check key in your tenant. If you're able to get the grand total for all the currency values, that should work. Just test that and let me know your test results. Now I'll actually go for prompts. Now you got familiar with what filter do, what subfilter do, right? Getting into prompts. Prompt is nothing but which actually filters down and give a kind of flexibility for a user who is running the report to select the criteria, what they wanted to have in the report output. It's similar to filter, only but it works in other way. You have an option to select during your runtime while you are running the report. Now, let's say your organization headcount is around 10,000. Now you're creating a report when you're testing. When you wanted to test the report to see whether it is returning accurate data or not. You'll not test for huge employees, right? That you'll not be able to validate the first. You'll be testing for limited employees to see whether all the data is populating or not in your sandbox tenant. In that way, if you wanted to do that level of testing, I love this one. In the selection list here, your type will change. Prompt user for the value. Select this one. I know this works in two ways. When your advanced report is web service enabled. Is not web service enabled. Just filter will work. Just giving that as a filter will work and no need of going to prompt. When your report is not a web service enabled report, click on. Your report should prompt you when you're running the report. It will prompt you to select the workers. I can select. use that. I want it to run. There's no data for these employees. IMAC can prompt used for any field. In a field, you can use it for any field. Your prompt can be any field. Any field can be prompted. Prompt it according to your requirement. The only thing is probably location is actually creating an issue. That's the reason why data is not coming up, because the filter what we have here is looking for only Canada employees. That's the reason why the other employees, whatever we have selected, are not coming up. I remove the Canada. If it is our operator, it should have worked. But if it is with under operator, it was only looking for employee and Canada employee. Now it should work. 3, 4, 3, 5. See, even for 2 employees, also just giving an error. Probably this could be something at tenant level. Tenant issue. I'll figure it out. But check in your tenant if it is working, if it is giving the result or not. That's how you know your prompt work. Now, since your report is not a web service enabled report, you're able to filter. You're able to prompt at filter level only. But let's say if your report is web service enabled report, and what reports are web service enabled reports? What report types are web service enabled reports? What is the meaning of web service? Euro, I think you were there in the. I think it was for when you're doing integration, and that's when it happens. Only advanced report are reasonable reports. No other report can be marked as web service enabled report. And now if I check this checkbox and I click on, but automatically I'll be getting without click on it, or you're getting an error because the rule is not satisfying here. When your report is web service enabled report, you also need to select the prompt, whatever you have given as a prompt. You also need to select that in prompt option. I'm clicking on. But still I'm not able to proceed because there are errors. When your report is a web service enabled report, you have to give the value in prompt tab without giving in prompt tab for web service enabled report. You will be populated with error. And similarly, grand total checkbox has to be unchecked for web service enabled report. Now what a shot. And check and prompts. the sum here? This should work for web service enabled report. There is a difference in it. For all the web service enabled report, make sure that you give prompt in a prompt tab. For non-web service enabled report, your filter prompt will work. That is the thing that you need to do. When you add that same kind of behavior, you'll see, and you can add a worker, you can add a contractor, you can add a country, you can add any of the report fields. That actually allows you to test your huge amount of data for reports. That's a major problem. Probably what you can do is when you're actually creating a report for benefit plans. And you'll give flexibility for benefit users, benefit business stakeholders, when they're actually testing the reports to give the kind of benefit plan as a prompt. That whatever benefit plan that they wanted to filter with, they'll just give it there and click on. Get the data that will be more flexible for them instead of, giving a huge amount of data and asking them to verify. I'll give a kind of prompt option to them if you wanted to actually give a kind of constant value. That also you can be done. Let me show you that instead of actually selecting from the list just to make sure that it has prompt. Amit, what is this display? Prompt values in subtitle. If you have here, do not include in subtitle. If you select this one, whatever worker, you're seeing that right. Whenever you are running the report, worker prompt is coming up to select the worker. When you select, that won't be coming up. But that has to come for you. There is a reason why you have given prompt right. There are, let's say, there are some certain type of reports where you'll be getting some default prompts when you create a report. I think for index all reports, I think the source will give all the built-in prompts. If all those built-in prompts are necessary for you and you don't want them to populate as a prompt, you can actually select that. Do not populate that prompt in the title. That you can do, and do not prompt at runtime. Also, you can check, and if you want that prompt to be required, and unless you select the value for that prompt, your report should not run. Kind of option that you have. Just select this one that it will make that field as required. And we have to give that prompt and then run the report. Now let's say I'm giving required here. First, let me show what is the do not prompt at runtime means. Like when we give a prompt, when we enter a data, it's going to filter out at runtime, right? Yes, it is going to filter out at runtime. But then what is this checkbox? What is the difference then? Do not prompt at runtime. Next to require. Next to require. Do not prompt at runtime. Let me check this one. Now I've selected as a required, and if I select this one, I'll be erroring out. Because we are making that as required, and we are again selecting as do not prompt at runtime. It should throw error. It should throw error actually, because this prompt filter is not making sense for the report to run. You're making the report field as prompt as required and you're selecting this do not populate. But let me uncheck this required checkbox and make sure that I have now. I have prompt as worker right. The report will not ask me. When I run the report, it will not ask me for prompt button, but without prompt it will run and it will go for blank data because prompt is given and you have not executed the prompt you made. That prompt do not populate when you're running and it has run and it has given you the blank data. Now again go back there and configure that back. Required, select this one, and when you select your required and this one, this will get disabled. Now this one. Now you see the required star mark has come here because you have marked your prompt as required. When you make your prompt as required, unless you give the value here and click on, you will be not able to proceed further. But if you don't give as required, then you can click on and submit that. Getting the data and then not getting the data is a different term. But when you give required, you have to give the value and click on. But when you don't give the value as required there in the prompt selections, this is to symbol. You know you'll not get. And when you click on, even if you don't give any data, your report will run with blank data. But here, in order to proceed further, you should give the value and proceed further. Let's say blank data means then it won't populate any data. It won't populate any data. Now it won't look for any data because the reason why is you have not given any data here, right? You're making your report as a prompt and you're not selecting any prompt and you're clicking on where the report is not looking for any data and it returns blank data. But in this case, if you wanted to be more flexible, if there is a prompt, I wanted to give the value, or if I don't want to give the value, but I wanted the data. If you have such kind of requirement, there is a different selection in the prompt. A filter where you made it as prompt right from the user for the value. Only if there is a value your report will run. When there is no value here, report will return blank data. That is the meaning of this prompt value. But if you feel that even if I don't give the value, I need to have a kind of flexible option. It should run for all the employees. If I give a prompt value, it should run for only that employee. Kind of a requirement that you have. Just remove that one. Go for different prompt option. From the user for the value and ignore the filter condition if the value is blank. Even if you don't give any value in the prompt, your report should run. It should not look for that value and that your report should run for every employee. Now let's see if I'm selecting this one. You understood the difference here, When you're going for prompt users of value, you need to know it's a basic override, right? If you do that, the second one. Yes, ignore the values even if it is blank. Just run for a full stack kind of filter that you're saying. But if you are taking this option, it is looking for the value. If you're not giving the value, your report will not run because you have not given any. This is the case. A basic prompt is like a filter. On the other hand, where you just want specific information, now I've selected ignore if there is a blank. Now, even if I don't give any value, I think I made it as required. I think here. Let me remove this. Now it will prompt me. I'll get the prompt. But even if I don't give the prompt, I'll get the result. Because we have selected a prompt to ignore if there is a blank value. But still, you have an option to filter if you wanted to go with the. You can go. And then for only this employee. Here, you have given the value and it has returned. But here your prompt is a little flexible. Even if you won't give any value, it will look for all the employees and it will return to give the value. It will look for that particular record. But in the previous case, you have to give the value in any case and it will look for that employee, that record, and it will get on the data. If you won't give, it will turn the blank data. Understood the difference? Like this, and you want the prompt. It's more for the opposite. If you're running it for somebody, that they can find information based on what they're just searching for. When there is huge amount of data for the business, and if you're giving access to this report for business users, and if you're allowing them to select the benefit plan or to select the country that they wanted to run or to select the supervisor organization for which they have to return the data. There are multiple cases, right? They might be having a different kind of requirement for only Canada. I wanted to run a report for only United States. I wanted to run a report in that case and give a prompt for country. And for only the specific management level, I wanted to run only for senior directors, only vice presidents, only executive leadership team or CEO of the company. I wanted to see the data only for these group of employees. Then I go for organization. You will be prompting for supervisor organization. They can select whichever organization that they wanted to have and that returns around that specific data. We have an option to give filter for supervisor, organization, location, country, anything. Anything that you can select and give them a kind of prompt access where they'll be selecting the specific country or organization or benefit plan anything, which lets down the report performance time and returns the data. Now the activity for you. Create a report. Create a report with all the demographic information, employee demographic information. When I say demographic information, it should include all the employee related information, employee ID, employee name, cost center, hire date manager, location, address, country. All these things you know has to be part of demographic information. Create a employee demographic information which should actually prompt for you when you are running a report with employee type. Employee type. When it is prompted, I should be able to select for contractors Or I should be able to select for workers, worker in the sense employee. I should be able to select contractor or employee. I need to have an option to select run the report as a prompt for an employee or for a contractor. These are the two options that you can give as a prompt and get kind of flexibility to run a report to any of this employee type and return the data. Before we end, I have a question. Can you please go back to prompt? And there was an option like value from another field. That will work. When you have certain cases when there is no value, prompt right. Here, I don't see you'll be seeing a value from. That will be in filter. Did you see? When you select it, oh no, from filter, you will be seeing that. Here you have comparison type. Say from giving. Value from another field. There are a lot of examples here which I can give. When I'm giving value specified in this filter, workers will be holding employee names, employee IDs right. Those I can give here employee, worker name I can give. But let's say it makes sure what values will be existing and value from other field. It's going to. Whenever you create calculated field, you're getting this kind of options. Actually, if you see here, if you don't want to go with worker name and on, is asking you kind of role of an employee. Whether it is a benefit partner or someone from business unit hierarchy you wanted to pick. You can pick this employee managers group of employees because worker is nothing, but it includes multiple levels. It is asking all worker managers if you wanted to pull all the managers. All the employee managers, if you wanted to return, you can give that one. And if you wanted to, when worker is a benefit partner, you wanted it to run a report for benefit partner. You can give this one. And when worker is, you know all workers managers in management chain. Let's say there are multiple support organizations. For each supervisor organization, there should be a manager. If you wanted to report on all those managers who are in management chain, you can actually select this one. Worker has multiple options, right? A worker might be standalone individual employee or group of employees with multiple criteria. Here you can select any of the category that you wanted to have from another field. Let's say if I wanted to all worker managers. This will return for me all the workers, managers whose management level is manager. I'll remove the prompt because we are testing in different scenarios here. In that case, we can't have a prompt here because it is a group of employees. Right. You can have a prompt, but you need to know what value you need to insert in that one. You can give the prompt. You need to know what value all workers managers is there. Right. You need to know. If you give any employee in all workers manager, let's say I'm the manager now, you are reporting to me. If I run the report with all workers as a manager, as a prompt, if I'm the manager, if I give as a prompt, My data will become because I'm the manager. But you are a kind of individual contributor. If I give you a name, the report will not return because you are not categorized as manager. The report port will throw an error. Now I've selected the worker as all worker manager and removed the prompt because that is multi-instance field. Where is that one? This is gone. Since it has got refresh, it has gone. I look from other field. I can select immediate manager also or managers. Basically, whatever you cannot select here, you'll be selecting here. There is only the case you'll be seeing. Now I'll be getting all the managers' data. All these are managers actually if you go to Stephen Morgan profiles. When worker is a manager, you have given a filter to run a report. There's a reason why you're getting. If you go to this employee job, you can see management level. This employee has manager. People are reporting to him, and that's the reason why he has associate. People are reporting to him. When manager level 1 in the sense is nothing but immediate manager. When there are people reporting to him, you'll be getting that particular data. You'll be getting, we understand the filter criteria that I've taken here. Manager level 1. Basically, if you give it as a prompt in the filter, then you have to define the prompt there. No, prompt is not the kind of topic here because the value that you have taken here from value from another field is a kind of concept here. Worker. You can give worker name like Amit. You know who is she kind of values that you can give in a comparison value. But now I've taken value from another field. Value from another field. In a sense, you can select group of employees, rows, roles you can select. You're selecting a manager level 1. What is manager level 1? Who is a kind of immediate manager to any employee, which is nothing, but who should have report is right. People who are reporting to him, who is nothing but a manager, right? That's what you're seeing here. When manager level 1 is there, they run the report. That you are able to select from value from another field. You're taking a cross section. Is it like you basically taking two fields, but the rows and bring them together? That's the reason why you're getting multiple employees, right? Who are managers you'll be getting? You're getting a bunch of employees. There's nothing but a role. If you are a manager, you'll be getting. If I'm a manager, I'll be in the output. If Ramo is a manager, she'll be in the output. Basically, you're getting all the managers in the report. That's what you know. You're able to select. Worker is nothing but anything, right? A worker might be manager, might be director, might be vice president, might be CEO of the company. Anything, right? That's what you're making, that selection here. If it is value from the selection list, you're only selecting from worker name, whatever it is that you'll be able to select. A value from another field means it is going a little wide open to all the worker types. worker categories, I can say. CDO of the company manager, director, anything you know that you can select. Amit, will we be talking more about prompts tomorrow also? There are multiple ways of prompting. We'll also discuss more options about prompt, when is required, when it is not required, kind of multiple ways of configuring prompts we'll be discussing. We'll be getting a few more use cases related to prompt and we'll discuss. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.